Hi, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with a practice tip of the day. This one's more for the intermediate player, and today I just want to go over how to change your strings. You're going to need to know how to do that. You're not going to want to have to run down to the music store every time you want your strings changed, or you don't want to be playing somewhere and break a string and then you don't know how to fix it. So anyway, this is a great invention. I think I paid $1.50 for this. This is a string winder. And it just saves you a lot of wear and tear on your, when you twist them up by hand, it takes a long time and it'll wear you out. All right, so anyway, I'm going to change. This is a standard dreadnought guitar with the pins in the bridge holding the strings in. So first thing you want to do, don't just cut all the strings off. We want to change them one at a time. We're going to take one off, put one on, take one off, put one on. That way, well, number one, you don't want to release all that tension on your neck all at the same time unless you have to for some reason to work on the inside. Mostly we maintain our tuning reference. So anyway, I'm going to jump over here to the first string, and if you're not used to using one of these, do this very slowly. Keep in mind, I've done this thousands of times, literally thousands. I go through a couple of hundred sets every year. So anyway, and I'm kind of fast at it, but just, it's really easy to put funny pressure on it, and you don't want to damage your tuners. Anyway, so you want to get used to it about like that, just real slow. But in the interest of trying to zip through this, I'm going to do it quickly. And what you want to do, you don't want to take the peg out until you loosen the string a lot. I mean, you want it just like really dangly. And what I always do, I just loosen it a lot, and I just take the string off of this side. And I'm going to pull it off of here. Okay, now it's loose, because when the string's tight, the peg won't come out. Well, it may come out, but it's likely to break, more likely to break. Okay, the string winder itself usually has a little slot back here. I don't know if you can see that, to pull the pegs out. Still not sure if you can see that. But I don't like to use that. It seems a little bit wide. All the ones I've ever had are a little bit wide. And I just like to use a flat blade screwdriver, kind of a short one. And the pegs are plastic, by the way, so just be careful. It's really easy to break the tops off. And then they're useless after that. So what I'm doing, let me get here where you can see it. I'm just going to put the blade up against the peg behind it, or next to it, and I'm just going to pry the top of the peg out. I'm going to do it very, very gently, and mostly I'm using the weight of the screwdriver to pry it out. And on the other side here, I'm going to push against this side of the peg, so all the pressure doesn't go that way and snap the head off. And I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying to angle it a little better. By the way, I usually do this flat, but I can see that you can't see what I'm doing there, so I'm going to do it this way. You do it flat when you're working on it. So I'm going to put pressure on this side. I'm just going to very gently pop it out. And usually, if it's the first time you've ever done it on if your guitar is brand new and never had the strings changed before, they're going to be tight. After you've done this a few times, the pegs get pretty loose when the strings are done. Okay, so the peg has a little slot right in the front. Get that where you can see that. So that little slot. The string sits in the slot, and the ball end of the string is the part that's going to go down in the bridge. All right, it kind of sits in there. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing there, but like if you're holding your guitar this way, the slot's pointing that way, and the ball, the string goes into the slot. And really, the way it sits in there is kind of like that. And the peg, the string holds the peg in, and the peg holds the string in. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna get this up here, and I'm gonna make sure that the slot in the peg is facing the tuner down this way. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the ball in over the hole, and I'm going to use that. I'm just going to push it. You don't really have to push it in. I just like to do it that way. I'm going to kind of keep some pressure on the string and push it in that way. And it's not going to be tight until you tighten the string. So, all right, and then I'm going to, over here, I'm going to get the string started. I'm going to run it through. Some people run it through the tuner twice. I just do it once. Because when I do it twice, like tying them on, it takes forever to. I change my strings very often, and it takes a long time to take the string off when it's tied on like that. So I just wrap it around once, but I make sure I get lots and lots and lots of windings around the post. All right, so the way you get lots of windings on there is don't pull the string all the way through. I'm going to leave a lot of slack on the string, and I'm going to wind it up. Maybe I don't need that much slack. I want to get, on these plain steel strings, I want to get, 12, 15, maybe 20 windings around the post, because the strings are skinny. There's plenty of room to have lots of windings. All right, and the best way to do is I have to keep pressure on it while I'm doing this. And what I do, I kind of wrap it around my fingers here. There's my string, and I'm going to hook my thumb up underneath it, and then with my fingers I can kind of pull down on it like that, and you kind of get it on there right. You can't pull very hard until you get a little pressure on it, or until you get half a turn on it or so. Then I'm going to reach over here, and actually I don't have to hold it until I get a little more turn on it. So I'm going to go over here, kind of get it going. And you want to make sure the string runs down the post. All the windings need to run down the post, because if they run upward on the post, you're not going to get a good angle over the nut here, and it's supposed to pull down. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to wind it up. Let's do this real quick. And like I said, I've left a lot of slack in there because I want lots of windings, especially on the plain steel because they're slippery. And I want it to hold its tune really well. So I'm going to wind this up real quick. And again, don't do this as fast as I'm doing it, because you're liable to damage your tuner. I'm just going to kind of wind this up quick. And you'll get faster at it as you do it more. And keep in mind, I'm keeping pressure on it the whole time. If it's not hurting your finger a little bit where you're holding it, you're probably not pulling hard on it. You're probably not pulling back on it hard enough. So anyway, keep going. And I'm keeping pressure on it because that makes it wind the correct way. And if I let go, it's going to look like it's going to expand like a slinky or something, broken slinky or something. So anyway, keep pressure on it, and getting a little tighter. And as it starts tightening up, I'm going to put it. I don't wind it up with it in the slot because I don't want to cut that. It doesn't matter so much with these, but on these, if you wind it up in the slot a lot, it's going to cut that nut slot deeper, and you don't want to do that. So I'm winding it up off of the nut. And then when it gets a little tighter, I'm going to put it in the nut slot. And then tighten that up. And checking to make sure it wound down the post. There we go. I'm going to kind of make sure that's in there good and tight. And it's just a little bit tight. So I'm going to tune it up. I'm put the winder away. I'm going to tune it up by hand. You got to kind of check, make sure that peg doesn't pop out. Don't tune as fast as I'm doing it either, because if you pass where the E that you're looking for, say you get up to around F sharp, G, your mind will play tricks on you. It'll tell you need to go to this E, an octave higher, and your string's going to break on it. That happens all the time. So, and if you want to, I should do this. This is an E note. I can use that for the actual reference. There you go, that's tuned to pitch. You might want to do this. Once you get them all on there, stretch them out a little bit, because they're going to stay out of tune for an hour or two anyway, but if you stretch it, it won't be as bad. Okay, so do the same thing. A lot of windings on the second string, that's plain steel. Once you get to the, as the strings get bigger and bigger and bigger, you can't put as many windings around the post. Like by the time you get to the big one here, 4 or maybe 5 windings, but you shoot for 3. Because it won't hold anymore. Most of them won't hold any more than 4 or 5 windings because the string's so thick. And you notice all that slack I had on that first string, there's plenty of room. By the time you get to this one, you can only put about maybe 3 inches of slack on there to wind up. If you have any more than that, you're going to have too many windings. It's not going to work. You know, a little bit more slack for the next, a little bit more slack for the next. So the bigger the string is, the less slack. And you just get good at estimating it after a while. Alright, so anyway, as we're done, I would go ahead and put them all on. Take the next one off, put the next one on, next one off, next one on. And when they're all done, just take some wire cutters and clip the strings. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Tune in tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in today. Tune in tomorrow for another practice tip. And I will see you then. Thanks a lot.